I'm here to show you a quick video about the Apple iPhone 14 and all of its new features. I have here the iPhone 14 Pro, and it comes with the A16 new Bionic chip from Apple, so it's supposed to run a little faster. It comes with a much better battery that's supposedly supposed to last a lot longer. That's one of my biggest issues with previous iPhones is how quickly the battery can deteriorate and lose its life. So hopefully this battery size is going to be a great improvement. And one of the first things I noticed when we were setting up this new iPhone is it no longer comes with a slot for your SIM card. So it can transfer your old phone into this using what's called the eSIM. So you don't have to have that SIM card that you're swapping out each time. This was actually really nice for setting this up. I didn't have to worry about potentially breaking the chip or pulling out the SIM card and, making sure I had the right tools for that. The only downside is international travel. If you want to get a SIM card to allow you to travel internationally, you have to go through the carrier. It could be a little bit, more challenging. But if you're not traveling a lot, this is going to be a really nice process for just setting up your new phone and transferring all of your data over without having to worry about the SIM cards. So right off the bat, a couple things is the cameras are just slightly bigger. You can see here compared to previous models, the size they are is a little bit larger. They sit off of the phone a little bit further. With cases, you're not going to run into that problem. Just, I would say, be careful if you're going caseless. The screen size is also 6.1 inches, so you're dealing with a little bit larger of an iPhone here. And the brightness can go a lot brighter than the previous models. And that is going to be fantastic because when it's bright outside on sunny days, I often have problems with my previous iPhones where it's not bright enough. It's really hard to see the screen, and I'm having to, find shaded areas so I can actually see a little bit better about what I'm doing. But the main two features that I'm going to talk about today, one, the camera. It can pull in 48 megapixels of raw footage. Internally, as you're taking photos, it I think defaults to the 12 megapixel images. You can do raw footage, which gives you a lot more stuff to work with if you're going to do editing and post. It has improved shutter speed for low light and also an aggressive stabilization for really shaky camera footage, which is huge for me because I use my iPhone to take videos of everywhere I travel. And the selfie camera also has autofocus and is 12 megapixels. Another thing is that in the cinematic mode for the camera, you can do 30 frames per second, not just the 24 frames per second for the 13 models. Now, one of the newest features here is the always on display. I personally am not going to be using this a lot, but it will keep a lot of the things that you're doing in the background just slightly dimmed, and it will always be showing your clock in case you want it, always on, always visible. This is new to Apple, but it's been around for a long time already with other devices. Still, a cool feature if you're wanting to use it. I don't have many use cases for that, so it's not going to be something I'm going to be using. But the last thing that is going to be really cool is the dynamic island. So the dynamic island is just a way to make the camera and microphone section of the front screen a little bit more interactive instead of it just being that block that exists there. So anything that you're going to be using in the background, such as music, directions, either your stopwatch, your timer, all of those background apps are going to be featured in that dynamic island. And it makes it actually a pretty cool experience to be able to multitask and quickly go into those active apps in the background instead of having to bring up mission control and move between those previous apps. You can click directly into those apps, or even if you hold it down, it'll bring up a widget for those apps. That is one of the coolest features I think that's in this iPhone 14 is just that dynamic island, and it's something I feel like I'm going to be using a lot with my multitasking. Again, I haven't used it in an incredible amount yet, but one of the features I'm most excited for. So that's all I have to show for the iPhone 14 Pro. I got the deep purple because it's the newest color, and in my opinion, the coolest color. But thanks for tuning in.